Welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing the board game Cashflow by Robert Kiyosaki, How to Get Out of the Rat Race. Now, let's see, where should I start? I first learned about this game when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which was back in high school for me, which was almost 20 years ago. And I remember thinking, it's kind of corny. Like, I couldn't really see myself. This is in high school. I'm a teenager. I couldn't really see myself playing a board game or asking for it as a gift. I didn't know who I'd play it with. So I just stuck to the books. And it wasn't until a couple years ago, my son, who's been playing board games, he's 8 now, but he was maybe 5 or 6 at the time. And I started thinking about creating a board game of my own that would teach some entrepreneurial skills. And that's when I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, Cashflow, it already exists. Or, at least I figured there would be something that I could try and I could evaluate this game. And then if there was something missing or if there's something I thought, could be better, I would build on that. So last summer, I bought the game to try it out and share it with my son and play it with the family. And we played it for a few times. My son, he was into it. He was excited. He had played Monopoly, and so he identified this as being like a better money game than Monopoly. And it was cool. It's there. It exists. We played it a couple of times. The age range is rated from 14 plus. He was only 7. You can play up to 6 people. I think the real drawback to the game, or the thing that might scare people, is that it requires patience. The average game time on the box, it says 1 hour to 3 hours. And I know a lot of people out there, you don't want to be playing a board game for 3 hours with your family perhaps, but there's a ton to learn here. And so I think what got my son over the fence was I had found these tapes. A neighbor was giving away some stuff, and I saw that they had, just so happened to have some cassettes on with with Robert and his partner talking about the game and how people play it, different strategies to play the game. And so my son, who has a cassette player, he started listening to the tapes, and then he came to me and he's like, "Hey Dad, I'm ready to play Cashflow again." So I was like, "Okay, you seem excited." He's like, "Yeah, I was listening to the tapes and I got some strategies that I want to try." So I was like, "Okay, I like that kind of talk." So we played the game, and the strategy for him was to just stick to the small opportunities before moving on to the big opportunities. And he did that. And he was able to get out of the rat race. I got out the rat race as well. And then, like I said, it's a long game. So the next day we decided to finish out the fast track portion of the game. So the game is broken up into 2 tracks. You've got your rat race, where you've got some opportunities that you can possibly get. You've got payday, some doodad expenses, some market opportunities. It's pretty reflective of the rat race. And then you've got the fast track. And having actually gone through this in real life already before playing the game, meaning having, I wouldn't say I escaped the rat race, but I made a way out. The emotions that you feel when you play the game definitely parallel or mimic real life, which is why I think it's a great game to learn, because money's an emotional thing. Business, entrepreneurship, these are all games essentially that require mastering your emotions. And so the fact that the game can trigger an emotional response allows you to better manage your emotional response in real life when you get business opportunities or investment opportunities or potential business you can buy. So I found that to be like really useful as a learning tool. But my son, who I'll have to have him come and review this himself, he's like, yeah, I love it. It's fun. It's kind of like I'm learning math and business at the same time. And, because it's a game, kids love games. Like, he loves games. So winning, there's a little bit of a collaborative aspect to the game as well, because, you got to work together and you got to audit someone else's income statement and balance sheet. So, this is essentially the core of what he's learning is the value of assets. Where are we? The value of assets, what liabilities mean, looking at your expenses and your income. But the goal of the game, at least to get out the rat race, is for your passive income to exceed your expenses. So it takes some time to do that in real life and in the game. And not every deal or not every opportunity is good. So you have to, make good decisions. That's all I got. Like I said, the next time I review this, I'll have my son who's 8, I'll have him share his experience, because I think it's a little bit more visceral to hear it from an 8-year-old. But as a parent and as an entrepreneur myself, this is a great way to teach kids the type of mindset that they need in order to skip the rat race entirely. That's kind of my goal, is to teach my kids what they need to be able to bypass it, or if they do get into the rat race, to play it well. So hopefully you found this useful. Links below the video, of course, if you want to check out this game. Highly recommend it. I don't have links to this cassette set because I don't think it exists anymore. But I'll think about perhaps trying to digitize it some way. I probably can't because it's copyrighted or whatnot. But who knows? Maybe I could work out a deal with Rich Dad, and we can take this into a whole new generation. I think what's amazing about this game to me is it's like 25 years old, and I think it's still really good. The only thing that I would possibly add is maybe some digital context, so some digital assets. When you're in the rat race, according to this game, you've got access to some real estate investments and some stock, but there's nothing on digital assets. So I was able to get out the rat race with digital assets. So that would be the only thing that I would add to the game. Other than that, the excitement from my son made this game super duper worth it. All right, peace.